Good morning, everybody. Today is March 4th, 2020, and happy Wednesday to you. Well, I'm driving to the office, and suddenly we have a bunch of people sneezing and coughing around me. Even though the weather is super nice, super warm, it's Southern California, 75 degrees. And usually the flu season is over by that time, but not now. And I don't know what the hell they have. So everybody was asked to wear some, protective gear such as N95 masks, and that's what I'm wearing. And this is the brand 3M N95 mask. Comes in a package of 10 of them, so I'm wearing one. Now, about the stock market. The stock market was up by 700 points when it opened because Bernie Sanders won, Super Tuesday nomination. And the coronavirus just killed 9 people in America total at this time, so doesn't look like we have hundreds of thousands of infections or dead people. So that's why the market is discounting the coronavirus threat. However, the interesting news that I've heard is that in Europe, though, surprisingly, they have much higher infection rate and a death rate. In Italy, for example, they oh shit, it's really hard to cough on this mask, if anything. But in Italy, they just closed all schools and all universities because it looks like the virus is spreading over there, and this is how they try to limit the exposure of people. Another interesting thing that I've heard is that Italy and I think one other country, I forgot which one it was, but in Europe, they just passed an emergency law that prohibits people to export face masks such as N95 mask overseas. And basically they're trying to protect the supply that they have currently in the country, so it would not be just harvested by people that want to buy these masks and then send them overseas. And by the way, this is what happened in America. If you now go to any Home Depot, Walmart, or many other stores that used to sell these masks, they're out. And the reason they're out, as they explained to us, is that a lot of Chinese people living in America basically bought out all the supply and shipped them to their relatives or friends in China, because this is where the coronavirus is hitting the worst, and they have 90 or 70,000 people who are infected and 2,000 or 3,000 people dead. So but obviously, even though this is a free country, but it looks like we're all this harvesting of all the masks and all the protective equipment, we in America are left kind of defenseless. So for example, I had to wait for this mask to arrive to me from Amazon for 2 weeks. I ordered on February 14th, the Valentine's Day, and it arrived to me March 10th. So it's been almost a month for me to get it. And when I got it, I paid for it $16, and now this thing goes for $50, the 10 masks. So the point is that America needs to kind of step up its protection, and don't just allow people to buy masks, strip us naked from any kind of defense, and then export all that shit overseas just because you can, because it looks like now people having a really tough time to buy any kind of protective gear to defend themselves. And in America, as you know, we have pretty low unemployment rate, which means that a lot of people are working. So another thing that I've heard and I read is that stay away from ordering food on the big screens, such as like McDonald's. You know, they have this new innovation where you could go to the store and you could instead of talking to the cashier and communicate what you need to them and pay with your credit card, now you could go to the big screen, and it's a touch screen, and you could just start touching that screen and order your food on the big, on the big screen. But what happens is that, first of all, they did an analysis of all the bacteria that lives on that screen, and first of all of them have a fecal bacteria, basically the shit bacteria, because people, customers go to the restrooms and some of them don't wash their hands, then they go to that screen and start ordering food. So, and when you're touching that same screen, obviously you're going to contaminate yourself as well. So either you should wear gloves when you do this, or don't order to the screens, because McDonald's doesn't wipe them that often. And it takes only one person to, well, let's say coronavirus, go in, touch that shit, touch that screen, and suddenly, you have a infection going on. So, what else? The other thing that could affect economy right now in the stock market is that, like, I live next to Long Beach. Long Beach is the largest port in America that basically receives a lot of Chinese cargo ships. There's kind of like huge super tanker sized ships that carry containers of goods from China, and right now they're going through much tougher inspection, so the port is not delivering as much goods as it used to be, because of all kinds of delays and checks that are happening with ships that are coming from China. Because of that, there's a lot of people who in America that depend on those parts or those goods that are coming from China. And I'm not talking about just goods for consumers, but I'm talking about manufacturing parts, and so it does have an impact on the economy at this point. But considering that the market is going up after Biden win, I think it's time to go shopping. So if you want to find out which stocks to buy, go to the website, stx.com. It will take you directly to the Apple App Store, where you could download, install, and run my app on your iPhone, iPad, and Apple TV. And it will give you advice what to buy and what to sell. Thank you for your time, and good luck trading.